we've made it to the consumerist depths of December. So it's only fitting I'm making a list. I check in it twice. You know, that time of year. Macaulay Culkin runs a mini gitmo on two destitute men, away from the prying eyes of parents and The Hague. The Honey Roasted Pesci, page 69 of the Q-Bot manual. You can look it up. I wouldn't lie to you, I'm on the nice list. So much so, CNE gets to have a mid-season break, and I get to experiment with that sleep I've been hearing so much about. That delicious becoming horizontally unconscious for a third of an Earth rotation. But before making lists, because we just traveled around the sun, which is insane to wrap your head around, I want to share with you some movies I'm thoroughly excited for in 2023. Plenty are obvious. I've already got the Shai Hulud tattooed on me. They're somewhere. They're two good places for that, really. And some were maybe too small to land your radar on the 2023 lookout. I'll give you estimated global dates with each so you can start working on your 2023 Cinem-Almanac too. Say that 5 times fast. In the spirit of Avatar, Feliz Navidad. I'm JP Sebastian. You see no evil. Real quick though, a word on 2022. It's felt like another surprising year. For the past 5, I start each pessimistically thinking, this is it. This is the year the machine implodes and we go back to watching shadows on a cave wall. Or worse still, another Green Book. Suppose those cave shadows are looking more and more in sight with these proxy wars all over the world. Or implosion's a hopeful thing for the industry as a whole. But a year-end retrospective always makes me think I should reduce my caffeine intake, cause hey, once again, it wasn't half bad. My favorites of this year would by no means be a comprehensive list, since I live in a comparative box office backwater and haven't yet had the luck of, say, The Banshees of Inisherin or Decision to Leave landing on South African shores. But of those I did see, a quick reminder of what made me, and maybe you too, sorta thankful for 2022. Every time Jordan Peele does something, it's an event. So, fitting. Nope was an eye-popper exploration of a spectacle. Similarly, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once was fun-size knockout, about stilling your heart to see what matters in the face of hyper-stimulus. Even more so, how to find a calm, fuzzy center despite snort-laughing at the adorable turning red. And re-centering your peeps even with the beast in the mix, the Lion movies and Underdog, tactile, incredible CG. And sometimes, uncomplicated blockbuster spectacles just what we deserve. Even if Top Gun Maverick was a dearth of near-death to wondrous madman Tom Cruise. They gave Arpat the bat and he swung for the fences. Well, he would have if there wasn't something in the way. The Batman had a strong eye and a promising direction. Against the laws of nature, I caught my hardest laugh at the 1% seasicking throughout a Harrelson, Burrich, socialist, capitalist, dialectical diatribe in the brilliant Triangle of Sadness. Serving up similar from class war to consumerist time bombs, the menu was slick, clever, and shocking. Taylor-Joy and Fiennes are masterclass pairing. Barbarian's a rabbit hole, and even that animal metaphor feels like TMI. Trust those who've seen it, who are all saying this. Go into this 2022 nightmare knowing nothing. And probably my favorite surprise against all the signs pointing to reboot, sequel of a spin-off 10 years late, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was astonishing. Antonio Banderas is one of the greats. And lastly, using the powers of time travel, next week's The Fabelmans is my favorite of the year. I know that somehow. This is exactly the stuff CNE means to interrogate. Movies wondering if movies mean a damn thing. Spielberg looks back on form so strident here, even I might enjoy a happy Hanukkah. L'chaim.
So everybody, as tradition holds, on every film, I don't even remember when this started with my pictures, but we started doing toast before we shoot the first shot, and we always do a toast just before the last shot. I have been dreading this day for 59 shooting days. I did not want this to end. I still do not want it to end. I have had the time of my life, literally, because this is a time of my life. And I have felt completely embraced and supported by all of you who knew what this film meant to myself and to Tony. We sat down October 2nd, 2020, and commenced writing the script after a 80, 90-page treatment. And then I called Christy up and I said, how soon can we make this movie? And Christy said what she always says, how soon do you want to make this movie? And I said, well, as soon as it's safe and as soon as we can get an enormously appropriate cast. And so to the last shot, L'Chaim.
You stop making movies, it'll break your mother's heart.
I don't know what to do anymore.
You do what your heart says you have to.
What was your favorite part?
2023 has a lot of blockbuster material in store for us. I will not know what to do with myself when even the Dune 2 trailer lands. I'm going to run into the horizon, screaming until I starve. I'm very excited. But that movie's gonna make its multi-$100 million haul of melange, while some poor indies are gonna scrap over crumbs. Put this way, 2022's top 5 distributors enjoyed just over 80% of US box office revenue. Poor 20th Century Studios, which is also Disney. This left a measly 5th to the 108 remaining distributors. And Avatar's still got a week to hack away at that. Thus, as always, CNE's got a soft spot for the underdogs. These are a few smaller indie types I have high hopes for and hope you'll give a chance to next year too. I'll skip over Jan so I don't sound insane doubling up those titles week to week so soon. And dates are for major markets like US and UK, which usually herald global release for the rest of us anyway. As kicking off our underdonkeys, it's EO, Poland's official submission for Oscar consideration in the international category next year. Similar to Gunda the Pig, and probably instigated by the cats of Keddy, EO, however, is narrative fiction, from the point of view of a circus donkey hitting the road. Something like a melancholic migrant seeing the good and bad of human life throughout Europe. The Little Donkeys on big screen February 3rd. I'll only quickly cover Saint-Omer for that repetitive madman fear I talked about the trailer last week. France's official international nom candidate, beautiful design. That's also February 3rd. Saint-Omer. Any chance we get in the West to watch Song Kang-ho at work, we've got to grab with both hands. Screw that. If you see him, hug him for me. Korean Pacino, or just one of the best living actors on earth, is primed to pluck the hull out of the heartstrings again in Broker. Yet another multi-layered, complexly lovable character convinced of his noble intentions as a black market adoption agent, who might just make a good mom by the looks of things, along with a band of other desperate outsiders forgotten by society, including the biological mom herself. More big-hearted humanity from the director of Shoplifters on February 24th. Pakistan's official submission to the Academy's international category, for consideration in that category, was banned by their own country. Then unbanned. Which, good for them, because Joyland looks friggin' incredible. A husband, under pressure from his father to make him a grandson, takes on a job as a stagehand at a burlesque theater. As if extramarital love wasn't complicated enough, he falls into it with a transgender woman on this backwards planet. She's one of the exotic dancers brimming with fierce life force. And so too the cinematography, which is as colorful and multi-dimensional as the human life you're in. Anyway, I could have just said it had 8 minutes of a standing ovation at Cannes. Joyland goes wider, February 24th as well. Close seems like it could feel so familiar to a lot of us. Ever go on a summer holiday, you hit it off with a kid from school in a way you never knew possible from regular cliques you were usually parts of. Autumn rolls around and he or you act too cool for the other. And here in Close, that might have been complicated by childhood love, as one boy seems more desperate for affection than the other, who tunes him out in the face of the cruel mockery about their relationship back home. If you can get kid actors to make turns this good in a movie, we're due for something altogether more impressive with Belgium's official offering to Oscar with Close at the start of March. We're getting all kinds of relatively interesting shows and movies about the political intrigues of popes, megachurches, cults, and so forth. So Sweden's official submission looks like a cat and mouse game of political opportunism in the halls of power of the prestigious Sunni Islamic Al-Azhar University in Cairo. I went down the Wikipedia rabbit hole. It's so old, Saladin was once a benefactor of this university. A fisherman's son is just pleased to have been accepted for study. But when its grand imam suddenly dies, a struggle ensues, and the poor kid is embroiled as a pawn at its center. Boy from Heaven scheduled for the 10th of March. Also look out for the title Cairo Conspiracy in some countries. Just last year, Norway gave us their critically acclaimed The Worst Person in the World. And Sick of Myself's another Nord coming for the crown. And it's actually not one of these many Academy submissions on the list. It's just what seems like a solidly funny, cringe-inducing dark comedy about a woman secretly poisoning herself to present symptoms of a rare disease, all in a bid to steal the spotlight from her up-and-coming narcissist artist husband. Sick of Myself is also March 10th. I'm feeling pretty grateful my life is boring as hell right now, because my sailor my love's another narcissist noodle. A woman hires a carer for her absent and emotionally unavailable father. Suddenly, he experiences a turnaround in romance with the stranger, a new humanness his daughter finds unfair after years of neglect. Is he being manipulative? Is daughter being fair? The Finns give us thoughtful familial pickles for the 17th of March. 2023's probable underdogs were hard enough to choose. Stick around after the break as I try to calendar some cash cows from the major studios in the year to come. The potential blockbusters. More. 2022 just put you through dogfights, a raptor rip-roarer, several sorcerers, minions, just ungodly minions, no wordplay, cat scratches, our pet as Bruce Wayne. I've grown it 1,000 more times. Both Chris Hemsworth's needlessly large arms. The Korean War rewritten. Pandoran War twice bitten. And Dushing Yuchi. Which, wow, China just, why? Apocryphal. Those were actually the worldwide top 10 grosses of this year in order. And you fought through it alive and hopefully unscathed. Tell you who wasn't unscathed through those pits of the pandemic though. In the decade before COVID, the majors, those studios, were releasing on average 90 wide-release movies per year. In 2020, blockbuster material fell to only 34 releases. But the movies might be on the mend, since this year churned 60 big titles from big studios. And I mean cinemas, excluding streaming. Maybe 2023 is looking green for the machine if this list of the blockbuster bound I'm looking forward to is anything to go by. Again, these are dates for the US or UK, which the rest of us usually take our lead from, especially since these movies target global dollar glory. Calendars out, kids. Here it comes. It's hard to think it was only by my darling Denis Villeneuve the world discovered Dave Bautista can deliver dead serious. And excellently menacingly. He was trusted to kick down the door on Blade Runner 2049. And M. Night Shyamalan gets this, so has him entering more gingerly with Knock at the Cabin. His performance looks so good in this. So, a family summer vacations all the way into a forest in the middle of nowhere, from which creeps the freakishly normie-dressed Bautista, and what looks like the rest of some kind of Mansonian family on a terrifying mission. He proclaims to his kidnapped vacationers that they can only deliver to them a choice. A terrible choice, which might avert the apocalypse. Our guess is, of course, they're being asked to sacrifice their daughter to save the world. It's delivered so well, there's no glee, no joy, some remorse about his mission. So like Bruce Willis a la Looper with a kid, and I'm also getting Lupita's duo family in Us. Lupa and Lupita. Love him or hate him, like Cameron, you've got to respect that Shyamalan makes his corn or classics on his own terms. I've got high hopes for February 3rd. And Wolf of Wall Street's a load of bull. Cocaine Bear's the pure, uncut truth, man. You with me? Bull, bears, Wall Street. And my only stimulant's 3 cups of wooden bean blood. Coffee. As a dude who's generally grossed out by the cash conditional lols and cynical money spin cinema of the Sharkcopter versus Snakequake 17 pipeline, I'm pleasantly surprised that this one looks like it commits and tries to make something worth your drug money. None of that doo-doo attitude of, don't judge, man, we're just having a laugh, but definitely hand us tens of millions of dollars. Cocaine Bear has a solid cast, a decent-looking bear that Leo might flinch at, and as well as seeming like a riot, looks like it aims to be hair-raising, shock and gore, doing OTT justice to the true story at its heart. Big props to director Elizabeth Banks. I hope it delivers February 24th. And another actor rightly taking a swing at the director role is Michael B. Jordan. I say rightly just remembering all the making of footage from Creeds 1 and 2, where that young king was fully engrossed in every aspect of production. Respect the care. I cannot see Creed 3 topping the second that topped the first. This Rocky reinvention has been so good to us, and the acting by Jonathan Majors alone in this trailer threatens a title shot. Laser-focused acting, and MBJ's good as gold as always. Then it just needs action to match. Creed 3 weighs in March 3rd.
You might disagree with me. These are family ties. I recognize mine. I know that they needed me. Traumatic stress, watch it manifest. Got my only fear. I ain't scared of that. Did you hear me yet? I ain't scared of that. Did you hear me yet? What you gonna do? Threaten to take my breath?
I need you to let go of your fear. Let go of the guilt. Let go of whatever was and walk into what is.
I feel those chains are breaking, yeah. I fear God, I don't fear death. I see those stripes and take a step.
The Stones to make a high-budget dinosaur thriller before the other ones even fossilized. Audacity at Jurassic scale. 65 is basically a declaration of war on a franchise many dino lovers felt watered down Spielberg's original terror. I won't dwell on it because I covered its first trailer last week, but I'm digging its kinda janky feel. Like they burned through budget just landing Driver to sink their all into a single-serving, single-purpose survival horror on March 10th. And a tiny few franchises started out sorta janky too, with enough star power to believe in the labor of love. Keanu Reeves and Chad Stahelski have made miracles with their Wick series, off a single conceit of Murder Man gets apocalyptically mad about Doggocide. Setting off the whoa heard around the world. John Wick 4 might follow suit and outdo the series. And sadly, 90% of action movies stealing double the budget. Bill Skarsgård seems a fine nefarious addition, and goddamn Hiroyuki Sanada. And Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen, Donnie Yen, Donnie Yen. Strength! I'm chewing a human adrenal gland till March 24th. Donnie Yen. And yes, I have a medically recognized minion allergy that causes me to break out in public homicide. But I have to come around to say Illumination Entertainment look like they beat up every brick to sink respectable resources into the Super Mario Bros. Movie. If you can put that one voice out of your head for just 1 second, magnificent large-scale platforms these shots are. Go big! And seems like they eat the whole damn mushroom on the weirdness of the source material. Holding thumbs for no yawnsome, mocking observational snark. Dive deep into my childhood head trip, ye minion kin. Truly gorgeous. Let's hope they figure out some tweaks in sound design before March 31st, because, yeah.
I want you to find your peace. But the good death only comes after a good life. You and I left a good life behind a long time ago, my friend.
I'm seeing a bunch of excitement on social media of people being like, no way, the indubitable Spider-Man's included. Or, lactose intolerant Spider-Man, so hype. Or, what? They're bringing back Fukuyama's actual end of history Spider-Man? Dope! And I do not know what you're talking about, but I'm so happy for you, because even my noob ass is psyched for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. What kind of multiverse would it be if it wasn't for everyone? Covered it last week? Sequel to a masterpiece, it's gotta at least come close, come June 2nd. And another minion I had to come around to over these years is Tom Cruise. There are not very many filmmakers who seem to be going, you paid what for a ticket? Hold my soul, I'ma die for you quick. Tom Cruise has your purest cinema entertainment at heart and the mind of a medieval Japanese army. Who hurt you, Tom Cruise? Or didn't hurt you enough? If I give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 a 10 up front, will you wear the Bubble Boy costume for life? Those words, Part 1, are like a slap in the face of the natural order. God scrolling his timeline like I call bullshit CGI. Another like Wick, embarrassing most of whatever's calling itself action for the past 10 years. Absolute respect. Stack of my cash, July 14th. I heard Tom Cruise offered to play Ground Zero in Oppenheimer. Classic Nolan, messing with time. It's felt like forever since he's dropped one of his big ones on us. Strewn through the trailers all sorts of evidence he once more consulted physics wizards for how to visualize the impossible, a la Interstellar. So shot for IMAX, one in IMAX, I'm hoping for a head trip close to the terror of the Space Odyssey tunnel. And bless the talented Cillian Murphy, promising the soul-crushing remorse of siring a nightmare into reality. Oppenheimer's ours, July 21st.
This is far and away the most dangerous thing we've ever attempted.
We've been working on this for years. We're gonna shoot it in Norway, and it'll be a motorcycle jump off a cliff into a base jump. I wanted to do it since I was a little kid.
All of which leaves CNE blockbusting at the seams, and both those lists only make it through halfway of 2023. Thereafter, more big ones yet to get trailers unfortunately just yet. Scorsese and DiCaprio team up again for Killers of the Flower Moon, sending Leo on a deep, dark spiral to investigate a real-life mysterious chain of murders. Remember how well they filmed that feeling in Shutter Island? You give us the date, Marty, we'll give you the money. And one of his favorite directors, which is to say one of Martin Scorsese's favorite living directors, is set to psychologically screw us all over again. Ari Aster's calling Beau is Afraid a horror comedy. And we remember how hilarious Hereditary was, don't we? Or its leading man, Joaquin Phoenix. Hyperventilating till we get a date on this one. Also undated is The Killer. Clever name. I'm undaunted because David Fincher's rescuing the excellent Michael Fassbender from all the crap he acts in for some reason. Full trust in the Dragon Tattoo, Zodiac and Social Network director here. And I don't know what I'm reading or saying when I tell you the single word, night bitch. Where naturally the dynamic Amy Adams, who shares a birthday with me, fears she's turning into a dog. She can do no wrong. And I'll let you know when, soon as night bitch gets a date. Night bitch. And who's better for an overacted rush of blood to the head? Nicolas Cage finally gets to be an actual Dracula years after Vampire's Kiss. I know it's a vampire, not a Dracula. I'm feeling grateful for Renfield, played by Nicholas Hoult, who you just enjoyed in The Menu too. But not if Blade has anything to slay about it. Sad to see the Daywalk torch passed from Snipes to Mahershala Ali, though he is sickeningly talented. And Disney? Blade is a mad violent movie, and has a smidge of blood. Figure this out. And daily I wake up in a desert sweat, like Chani summoned me to the cause of Lisan al-Ghaib. Guys, the thought of Dune 2 puts me on edge. Huffing spice over here. In fact, it's left me such a wreck. Cine No Evil needs to hibernate for 2 weeks. I'm getting hairy already. I'll see you all again in 2023. Be good to each other, and peace.